This is going to be challenge exercise number 3, and we're going to use the restraint of a limited palette to help us embrace our boldness. And the materials that you can use are black and white paint, the primary color paints, and drawing tools in either black or white and the primary colors. So what I'm going to use, I've got paint out, I've got a cerulean blue, primary yellow, white, and black on my palette. I've got a group of drawing tools. I've got a red woody, yellow woody, blue woody. I've got some whites. I've got a white woody. I've got a white watercolor soluble pencil, a white oil paint stick. I've got a little tiny pencil lying in here that you can barely see. My favorite soft carbon art craft pencil. And I've got the Marabou black art crayon. In terms of other tools, I've got kind of a variety pack here of brushes. I've got 2 of these rigid scrapers, which I love. I've got a paint shaper. I've got a couple of chip brushes, a 3-inch and a 2.5-inch, a tiny brush that somehow got left in the studio by somebody, and then a really skinny brush, and one that fell off the table, which is a cut-off 2-inch chip brush. So I'm going to start on my piece, and it's a 10-minute or less project. And I'm going to start by taking my Art Graph soft carbon pencil, dipping it in water, and just making a few random marks on my surface. And by the way, I'm using a 30 by 22 piece of paper, Strathmore 90-pound print paper. So I've got some marks activating my paper. And I think I'm going to start with my cut-off chip brush for fun, maybe with a little black paint. I'm not wetting the brush. I'm just going to make some marks that way. And I didn't mix my colors. I'm just going to use them off the palette and see what happens as they get put on the paper. So I'm going to take my paint shaper with a little yellow, dip it in the water, and just make marks. I think I'll go to the white now. And I'm dipping it in water because it improves the drag on this paint shaper for me. It may not be true for everybody, but it's how I like to do it. And I'm just going to allow this kind of thing to happen, this sort of combining of the paint and the marks. I think I'm going to go to this kind of smaller brush, this one here, with a little blue paint. See what happens. And this is a cerulean blue. Let me dig down here for one of my scrapers. I'm going to put a little bit more white on here. And I'm not trying to be pristine about the colors. I'm just letting what happens, what's going to happen is going to happen. And I like to use the edge of this to kind of draw into the paint. It also gives a nice effect. Clean this off a little bit. Now I'm going to go with some black. I want some more heavy black in this. Again, I'm going to go off the paper. Maybe I'll let's see. Let me try a little of my blue woody on here. Draw off a little bit of that to kind of give a little bit more variety of line. I have a lot of wide lines here. It's time to put in some more narrow ones. I'm going to use my soft carbon pencil again to do that. Just kind of trying to make different shapes with this pencil. I'm kind of liking this. I want to edit some of this out a little bit. So I'm going to go in with some white and do that. And I'm thinking I want to kind of get rid of this sort of, I don't know, strange lemony yellow color. But see, I hadn't cleaned off my tool very well, so I got that in there too, which is great. It's random. I like the effect. And I went over this, which kind of darkened that black area up. Time to wipe this off again. I'm going to take a quick look. Heavier black is what I was calling out to me. I think I'm going to take the paint shaper and go over this black. I'm getting a kind of a variegated effect by doing that. I'm going to take another look. I want to do something here. I think it needs a bigger hit of blue. And since I have the paint shaper in my hand, I'm going to use that. I'm liking that. It's kind of bold. And you know, blues and yellows are not the colors I normally use a lot of. Yellow maybe, but certainly not a lot of blue. So it's a little more challenging for me to do this. And I'm just letting greens happen where they may, rather than pre-mixing them. I want to kind of layer that a little bit with white. Let's see, and maybe over here too. Bigger hit of white. Let's see. I'm going to try my blue woody again. I want some more blue lines down here. And I'm not trying to make some fabulous composition. I'm just trying to go with my gut on this and see what comes out. And you know what? I'm thinking I'm liking this, and I'm going to call this as done. So this is the finished version of my challenge number 3, which was exercising restraint using a limited palette. And I actually limited my palette even more than what we had stated. I didn't use red. Red wasn't speaking to me for this painting. And I felt that if I added red to the other colors, the blue, yellow, black, and white, it was going to create too many colors. And I didn't want that. I like just a few colors in my paintings. And for me, this resulted in a bold painting, partly because of like the large swaths of black, and then this like solid blue that's kind of playing off against it, with a lot of kind of white open areas that let you really see what's happening with the black and the blue. So, you know, this is just an example of what you can do when you restrain yourself and put limits on yourself.